Welcome to Total Pole Nation. It is Lambo's Water Sports featuring the Big Brother featuring Sunline Sports Network. This is the game of the year that we will both be watching. We'll both be staying tuned. Now, I understand, by the way, my Patriots got the ass by the Cowboys. I get that. I fully understand that. And I accepted the loss, and I paid his money. That's not the point here, all right? Win or loss, be a great game to talk about. Now, if the Cowboys lose, like I said, I'm not going to say nothing about it until Monday, all right? But this will be a great matchup, by the way, all jokes aside, all right? Dak Prescott and those Cowboys are 3-1, all right? The only bad loss is the Cardinals. The 49ers remain undefeated. Brock Purdy is 9-0 in the regular season. They cannot be stopped. Now, this game is played on the road, obviously by the Dallas Cowboys, on the road in San Fran in a very, very tough environment. Now, there's a lot of things going on. Now, the defense of the Cowboys has never been an issue. Now, with the loss of Trey Diggs, it hurts them just a little bit. With the Cowboys not being able to stop the run, it hurts them as well because, the Cardinals ran all over them. And the 49ers have a better offensive line than the Arizona Cardinals. So, I think the run defense is going to be tested. Number two, I feel like even though Deebo Samuel did not get a lot of catches last week, he's going to be the main vocal point that the Cowboys are going to have to stop. All right? Also, Christian McCaffrey did have 4 rushing touchdowns. Now, I don't think he'll have 4 against Dallas. He might have 1 or 2, maybe. I'm not saying he'll have 4. That's a very great Cowboys defense. We talk about the red zone. They still struggle in scoring touchdowns in the red zone. I think they were maybe 2 for 8. They scored in the red zone against the Patriots. Their final play was 38-3. They do struggle in the red zone. They can't be kicking field goals. And the Big Brother has said it earlier, in the season, especially when they played the Jets, they just kept kicking field goals, Now, my prediction is I'm going to pick the 49ers. I think this should be a very, very close game. I have full faith in the 49ers defense. But like I said, and all jokes aside, it's going to come down to Dak Prescott, meaning if they need a touchdown to tie the game, they're going to have to get a touchdown. It comes down to Dak Prescott and what he could do. And despite Mike McCarthy being the new play caller, he wants to run the ball more than he did last year. But I feel like with that San Francisco front line and Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, the linebackers and all of them, they're going to make Dak Prescott beat him throwing the ball. So I'm going to take the 49ers. I'll give them 24-21. Go ahead on your take.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm obviously going to go with the Cowboys. And it's not just me being like a delusional fan or anything. I think that these teams are very, very closely matched. You just talked about it. It's going to be a close game, and I agree. It's definitely going to be a close game. But you say it's going to come down to Dak, and I get that. But, this is the same guy who's led the league in game-winning drives. He's had multiple seasons of over 5 or 5+ game-winning drives. He has the 11th lowest interception percentage in NFL history. So I think we're getting, or not me, but people, like to shit on Dak a little bit too much because he did have a down season last year and he deserves it for that, but to an extent, not to the level of the way that people were trashing him and doubting him when he has shown that when he's healthy and they go through a whole season, because he's had some years, he had the crazy ankle thing and all his other injuries where he's missed time. When he is our full-time starter, we are a competitive playoff team. In the early part of his career, the defense was nowhere close to what it was now or what it is now. The offense was the strong point. We were kind of in the middle on defense, and now we're obviously pretty damn close to the top. So I just wanted to, pump the brakes a little bit on it's going to come down to Dak. Dak has proven in the past that he can win us games, fourth quarter comebacks, game-winning drives. He's had multiple seasons of near the top of the league in both of those categories. And, just as a whole, like I said, 1.9% interception percentage. He had multiple years of 30+ touchdowns. The dude's a dog and he can throw the ball around. Now, I'm not saying he's one of the elite quarterbacks in the league. I'm just saying, put some respect on my man.
I am putting respect on it. I'm just stating facts. And by the way, before you continue your point, Dak Prescott has 4 touchdowns on offense. I'm correct. 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And the offense, the defense especially have the same amount of touchdowns as the offense. I'm just pointing that out there. They had the same
as Dak, not as the entire offense.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Dak Prescott has 4 touchdowns. I'm talking about just the offense, not like by himself individually. I'm just saying offensively, Dak Prescott is part of the offense. 4 touchdowns. The defense, special team, has 4 touchdowns as well because the dominance you put on the Giants, the Patriots, and the Jets. So that's part of it. Now I think Dak Prescott is a great quarterback. He's the second best quarterback in the NFC East. I'm not shitting on him at all. I'm just saying when I say it comes down to Dak Prescott, I'm talking about turnovers. He can't have that bad interception he had against Arizona. He can't have that and triple cover. Now, I understand they were down 10 points. I get it, but it was a pretty bad interception. You know how in the past you talk about bad interceptions against the 49ers, especially the playoffs last year, how many bad interceptions he threw, except, one went off a receiver's hands or Dalton Schultz's hands and whatnot. And then you talked about how, it looked like a certain coverage and it wasn't that coverage. So when I'm saying when it comes down to Dak Prescott, it just comes down to if he's going to throw an interception. Now, if he doesn't throw an interception, the Cowboys going to win. Now, if he throws 1 or 2, they're going to lose. That's what I'm saying about Dak Prescott.
Right, but that's the point that I was making. That's why I brought up that he has the 11th lowest interception percentage of all time in NFL history, and that he's had multiple seasons of game-winning drives and fourth quarter comebacks if we were down. So I don't think that there's statistics that back up not trusting him over trusting him just because last year was a down year. But like you mentioned, and I've mentioned 1,000 times, half of those interceptions were off of players' hands or off of their chests. So I hear you. It does come down to that, and I agree. But I definitely trust him to do that given the statistics of his entire career.
So you do trust that, I agree. But what if they can't run the ball? What if you make Dak Prescott? What if the 49ers defense makes Dak Prescott throw the ball 50 times? Y'all still have a chance to win. And they make him throw the ball 50 times.
I think so, because if you remember the year that Jameis went crazy and had 30 touchdowns to 30 interceptions or whatever, Dak was number 2 in the league in passing yards per game. He had just under 5,000 yards for this. He had 4,900 or something. 37 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. And that's in an offense that threw more than they ran. I believe that's one of Zeke's absences that he had at the beginning of the season or middle of the season, whatever it was. And we went to a way more pass heavy offense. And that's what he threw. He was insane. He was the second leading quarterback in the league. So yeah, I definitely think, I'm sorry, I over exaggerated, but he was 4,500 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I mean, I don't know. I'm throwing the ball at 69%. He's throwing the ball at 71% so far this year. So, yeah, I mean, if they've got to throw a lot, he's shown me in the past that he can handle that. I think our wide receiver room is upgraded from where it was last year and the year before. The tight ends keep dropping damn passes, though. Not this past week, Ferguson was 7 for 7 in, targets to receptions. But Shoemaker's dropping some, Henderson dropped one, and a lot of them are coming in the red zone. There's in week 1, there was a red zone drop by Ferguson. Against the Cardinals, we had a red zone drop in the end zone as well. And then last week we had 2, I believe. So obviously we've been in positions to score these touchdowns in the red zone, and we have executed up until the point of the tight ends catching the damn ball. So, I mean, the opportunities have been there. The plays have worked, and then the execution isn't all the way right sometimes.
What about these 49ers now? Brock Purdy feeling good now. Now, I understand, we talk about he's doing just enough and all that, but, I mean, isn't that what you want from your quarterback to do just enough? He's not turning the ball over. Now, he's almost had some interceptions early in the season. He almost threw some bad ones, especially against the Giants. But he's running within the offense. He fits perfectly in the offense because Trey Lance didn't really fit that well. They busted on Trey Lance. Jimmy G is a little old and injury prone, and Brock Purdy had that mean elbow. But I'm more confident in just Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan. Not saying Mike McCarthy can't call plays; he called plays just fine. But how is that defense without Trey Diggs? And not just that, we probably missed some other key guys, but Trey Diggs ain't the only one. He's just the main one. He's the main guy that shuts down one side. You still have Stephon Gilmore, but he's not the same player he was with the Patriots. He not the same dude, but he's still elite. How do y'all stop that run game? How do you stop? How you stop the game, and how you stop that jet sweep with Deebo? Because Deebo's gonna get more touches than he did last week. He didn't really touch the ball last week, but he's gonna get more touches this week. And you got Aiyuk, you got Jennings, you got Kittle still.
Yeah, so when it comes to the secondary, I'm fine with the depth that we have. We're pretty loaded back there. Deron Bland, who's our second-year guy, he was the rookie I was talking about from last year that was like he led our team in interceptions. He led, I think he had 6 interceptions last year, and that was pretty high on the NFC rankings when it came to that, and he's already got 2 pick sixes this year. So I'm fine with our depth when it comes to secondary. The run defense is definitely an issue considering, Christian McCaffrey's still like the top back in the league, and we're a middle of the road run defense. We're like 14th or something in the league when it comes to yards allowed. But it does, on the same field of averages, we are the second, we allow the second fewest points per game at like 10.8 or something like that. So like we can stop the points from coming in. I'm not saying that we're not going to let CMC score, but I do think that our defense is the one to limit, him going off.
Last thing, Jerry Jones said in a radio interview that, he put respect on the 49ers. But I feel like, and I don't know the exact words, but they said it goes through them. Or whenever y'all win or lose, I feel like this is a must-win game for Dallas more than it is for, San Francisco, just because I have a feeling in order for the Dallas Cowboys to have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl is to get that potential bye, being the first seed in the NFC, get that bye, you get that, division game, and then you get to, you play 2 games, get the Super Bowl instead of 3. Now, I feel like if you lose this game, it's not that your season is over. But at the same time, I don't feel like y'all gonna make some noise, but like it's gonna be hard for y'all to make the Super Bowl from being like a third, like a 4th seed, 5th seed, just depending on other divisions. Now, going back to what Jerry said, he talked about how the Cowboys or something goes through the 49ers, NFC Championship game or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong or the exact words.
I have the quote.
But go ahead.
Here's the quote. Talking about the 49ers, Jerry Jones. They are probably the most likely team to go win the Super Bowl, but in order for them to get there, they have to go by us. Hopefully 2 times if that's the way it falls in the playoffs, and we're in the playoffs, of course. So
the last part, when you say goes to the Cowboys, am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was basically referring off that. Did they forget that the Eagles made the Super Bowl last year? And I know we're not talking about them as the matchup until a couple weeks down the road. But I have a feeling Jerry must have forgotten that the Eagles were in the Super Bowl last year. I'm just it's I get that Jerry's doing an interview, but it's just like, are we forgetting about the Eagles now? The team that's still undefeated, they're still number 1. It ain't like the Eagles are straight garbage. Jalen Hurts is done. But I mean, we just forgot about the Eagles. Like I think in retrospect, that's going to motivate some Eagle fans down the road that you forgot about. But at the same time, like I said, the NFC goes through the 49ers or the Eagles, 49ers, then the Cowboys. I don't know about the 49ers. I mean, that's just my.
I definitely think I'm with them, and I think last year, if Brock would have stayed healthy.
Yes, I picked the 49ers.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's perfectly right that it still goes through them. I've been high on the Niners all season. I mean, it's hard not to be. So it's not like I'm throwing out hot takes or anything, but they are like the most well-rounded team, I think, in football. So I have no No issue with what he said. And I love that he's saying they've got to go through us to get there. I love it. You got to hype your guys up like that.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not disagreeing. I would do the
you
same
can't
thing.
go
I'm
out
just
there
saying he
so
forgot what the
confident.
Eagles was.
No, I mean, I don't think he did. I think right now you could definitely make the case that we're performing better as an overall product. So I mean, and of course, he's the owner of the team. He's going to say, like, hey, like, these guys are great, but they still got to go through us. So, like, I'm all for it. I think that's a great way to go about it.
Well, I mean, this is it for this episode. Like I said, not really too much trash we talked about. We did that wait till 8:20 on Sunday. Actually, it won't even be too much trash. We'll just sit there and text throughout the game and have our opinions. It's not gonna be too much trash talking. Even if they lose, I might have some laughs, but I'm not gonna do it till Monday. I just it's a good matchup. It's a good team. Like, hey, they're not losing to the fucking like Chicago Bears or anything. So I kept my Cowboys laughter and hate a little bit down, but except the annoying fans that annoyed the shit out of me when it came to the damn Patriots. Oh, how about we beat the Patriots? I just want that same energy when y'all beat the 49ers. I just want that same energy when y'all beat the 49ers. So it'd be a great game, but we'll have to figure it out. But next, last episode of the day, before we go on to the rest of the NFL games tomorrow, we're gonna have a W list on who's the top 5 teams in the NFL after 4 weeks. And trust me, at some point, it will be better than the Stephen A list. Now, Stephen A list is great, but looking at that list, he really put the Ravens up at number 4 where they lost to the Colts. So we're going to do a better list than that, which we'll stay tuned in Lambo's World of Sports. Lambo and MattPatt's W list. Do not put